We're just normal men.
Mic check, normal men.
We're just innocent men.
Check, innocent men.
All right.
What's
going on?
What's up?
I asked you first, actually.
Let me take a deep breath to just let you know that I've been transformed into watching some serious witchcraft content lately.
Yes, because you're watching Charmed.
Yeah.
Big influence on Transformers, I've heard.
90s, baby. What a show. What
Yeah.
a show.
Mm-hmm.
I used to watch it coming back from school every day because
Yeah.
it would just be on coincidentally at the time in the afternoons.
That's how TV used to work, yes.
Yeah. Only in the afternoons, no other time of day.
Yeah.
And I don't remember ever seeing every musical band on a TV show like this one committed hard.
Yeah, that used to be a thing more in network television
Yeah.
where you'd have a guest. Yeah.
Why don't we do that anymore?
Did you ever watch Twin Peaks: The Return?
No.
Because did you ever watch Twin Peaks?
Yes.
Right, so you've seen the original,
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
remember it.
Of course.
Okay, so Twin Peaks: The Return, which came out in 2017. Yeah, it's like it kind of always it comes to mind all the time because I'm like, is that like the most pure genius work of art I've ever seen, stretched over 18 episodes of brilliance, or is it the most obscure and esoteric thing ever? And I will say, okay, it's been 6 years. I won't tell you what happens. I think that series has one of, if not the greatest ending ever.
Oh, wow.
In my opinion.
Oh, shit.
But the reason I bring it up is because David Lynch, of all people, at the end of a bunch of those episodes, there's a little musical performance.
What?
Yeah, at the Twin Peaks Lodge or whatever the fuck.
Oh, what?
Yeah. But they're not like big bands. They're just like, there's a couple. I listened to one of the people who performed. I was like, oh, this is like pretty good. But it's like really random. You're like, I did not.
Oh, my God.
Why is he doing this? But yeah.
Oh, well.
So David Lynch, probably a big fan of Charmed.
He brought it back. He's like, we should do that more. Yeah. I do recommend TV shows, just generally encouraging musicians to show up at the end, like fucking Saturday Night Live or whatever, where you have a music segment.
And we all know how much I love and respect Saturday Night Live as an institution and think it's one of the greatest television programs.
But it's not the same as like watching a drama or a serious show and like part of the fabric of the show, like Charmed, is the Cranberries come and fucking perform.
Excuse
in
me,
their club.
but Jason Reitman will be dramatizing Saturday Night Live later this year in the film Saturday Night, starring a bunch of 20-year-olds who have never seen an episode of Saturday Night Live.
Oh my God, are you?
Yeah.
Is that a thing that's?
That's a thing that's happening.
No.
Yeah. Sounds dumb.
Yay.
And we all know Jason Reitman. A little hit or miss, that guy.
Yeah, I mean,
made some good movies, but a little hit or miss.
We do rely heavily on nostalgia as just a fucking generation, I guess. Like every other piece of content we've ever seen is.
To be fair to those 20-year-old actors, it's okay to also rely on getting paid money to perform your craft.
Oh, totally.
Even though you're probably like,
oh, do it.
Who the fuck watches Saturday Night Live?
Fuck yeah, get that money.
Yeah, Rachel Sennett isn't. I mean, she probably does because she's a crazy weirdo genius.
Yeah,
but
she's
like,
a machine though. She fucking. You know what? It is okay to be 20-something. You guys, you're doing a good job.
I think it's illegal, actually, and most of those people should be arrested and tried.
It's harmful.
We're getting a little off track.
All I'm saying for nostalgia is that we're
a charmed household.
In fucking another 10 years or 50, let's say a soft 15 years.
Yeah.
If someone does a reboot of the first Transformers from 2007, not the 80s one, so the second first.
Is a reboot necessary considering there are 6 Transformers films?
Well,
and including one that's coming out the day this comes out, although this one is an animated film.
Can I just say, every other movie that's come out after 2007 Transformers,
everyone was so happy. Everyone loved it. Everyone was like rejoicing in the aisles of the movie theater, being like, "This is the exact thing I wanted."
The first Transformers is unfairly lumped and judged because of all of its successors.
Yeah, can I say something about that?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Because this movie
fucking rules. It's so good. I could not have imagined I would be this big a fan in a 2024 rewatch of 2007 Transformers.
I thought that we would watch it in parts, and I threw it on, and we were just locked in.
Hooked.
This movie, we had such a good thing going with blockbusters back in the day, and now I want to talk about that. But can we talk about a film that we saw yesterday a little bit?
Yeah.
Do you remember? It was only yesterday.
Oh shit! Yeah, at the cinemas.
Speaking of legacy sequels, we saw Alien Romulus.
Yeah.
As the four of our listeners know, we did an Evil Dead episode because of Alien Romulus.
That's right.
Fede Alvarez continues to improve as a director.
Brilliant.
I think that might have been his best movie.
I fully agree.
I really enjoyed it. I didn't love all of it, but
I looked over at you, and at one point you had both your hands clasped to your face. Just, I don't know if it was like shock or like a little like jump scare thing, or you just kind of were like, oh.
I'm an incredibly stoic person. But I wasn't. I found it. The jump scares were effective and stuff. But I was very happy with the level of the gore and the violence and the extremity of it. I thought the trailer did a good job of setting up exactly what the movie was going to be like.
100%.
And I really enjoyed it. I thought it did a really fucking good job.
Another very nostalgic opening. It was like classic 80s style, like shooting into space, and then the way like the credits kind of show up, and it's like right in the middle of the screen. Small like sans font. All right, now I'm getting crazy with it.
It was beautifully shot. It was nostalgic in a lot of good ways.
Yeah.
It had some poor nostalgic taste parts in it with the resurrection of Ian Holm as a character.
Do you find that because he's dead?
Because he's dead for one. That's maybe reason number one by a wide margin. Yeah,
it's always nice.
Excuse me, sorry, spoiler alert that happens, but yeah, it happens.
Oh, we can cut that out.
What? No, I'm not going to cut it out.
But when they did Leia in Star Wars,
you know how much I loved that.
Totally, but did people find that offensive too, or did you personally feel
Carrie Fisher was still alive though? When in Rogue One, when they did that, Carrie Fisher was still alive.
Oh,
for one. Okay, this is a little different.
This this is a comeback after.
Yeah,
years.
I didn't mind it, but I also didn't think it was like particularly well done.
What is it like the weirdness of just definitely an
AI
AI voice
weird,
or
just cast a different person, man. We've had this discussion about Leia. It's fine. But overall, Romulus was very good. I really enjoyed it.
So good.
Now, I didn't realize that, switching to another topic, for the last couple weeks, I didn't realize we were on such a daddy kick with After Earth, Lucky Number Slevin.
Yeah.
And what was the other? There was another one that was like heavy dad film, dads and sons.
I reckon this one because Transformers also dad and son.
I'm saying Taken.
It's
Taken. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
And this movie is the anti-family film, I think, because I have to say, so Steven Spielberg, producer of the Transformers, a pretty okay film director, I would argue. He's just there above David O. Russell in terms of talent and skill.
Steven Spielberg?
Yeah, he's in there between Darren Aronofsky and David O. Russell in terms of impact and talent. Steven Spielberg produced this movie. I think for a minute there, he thought of directing it. And I feel like if he had directed
I'm so happy he didn't.
This movie would not be about Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox. It would be about Shia LaBeouf and his parents and a dog being hauled along on an adventure by the Transformers. Because all of that family
Shia would make no jokes.
Yeah, I know he would make some. But all of that family stuff is so vintage Steven Spielberg. And I think Michael Bay did a good job of capturing that. And because of that, and I think it has to do with Steven Spielberg's influence.
Yeah.
This is, without a doubt, Michael Bay's best movie.
You know,
do you think
when in Point Break, when Patrick Swayze's like, this is the closest you'll ever get to God, he was just talking about people watching Transformers at the cinemas.
Yeah, that's what Michael Bay said to his cast every day.
This is fucking magical.
Mm-hmm.
Everything
I was just shocked how much I enjoyed this film again. Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't even begin to think of any other name that comes close to Michael Bay when it's associated with creating a movie in the humor and style of Transformers.
Well,
he fucking nailed it.
But in a lot of Bayesian films, it doesn't work, but it works not. In this film.
I think it's just because there's obviously like it's like how kind of Barbie works. Because you have a lot of childlike association.
Hot take, Barbie only kind of works.
With the audience that it's meant for, because you grow up playing with the toys, and then you grow up watching the cartoons, and then boom, you get the fucking summer blockbuster that redefines fucking 2000 cinema.
This movie is made for fucking teenagers, and I was watching it being like, well, this is thorough entertainment.
100%. It's you can't even understate it, because every single frame of this fucking movie just works so well. The CGI is some of the best
CGI is absurd
I've ever seen. Like, even the fucking audacity of like thinking of how to like twist and turn the fucking Autobot into a car and backwards.
So the CGI is amazing, but a lot of that also has to do with the design of the robots themselves. Is really incredible. Also, Spielberg insisted to Bay, and Bay agreed that they would keep most CGI restricted to the bots themselves. Almost a lot of other stuff is done practically, as Michael Bay likes to blow shit up.
Like the military stuff? Like all the scenes?
I think so. Like a lot of the cars blowing up, crashing, things like that.
Nice.
But so the Transformers themselves are rendered by, I think it was ILM did most of the CGI work, and then another CGI house did other parts of it, because it's like a hugely CGI intensive film. The bots are rendered with like thousands of different moving parts in self. And there is a part I read where Michael Bay was like, the first time we tried to render an Autobot transforming, it took 36 hours to render a frame. And so they had to upgrade their processing capacity because it was so intensive, which I think, like, I'm not a CGI guy, but it just sounds amazing.
Holy shit.
But the care and consideration in how every piece is a distinct piece that is taken from a machine that actually exists in the world.
Wild.
And then the other thing too was, like, apparently Michael Bay was like, originally before the CGI was created, he was like, all right, they have to at least follow the rules of physics. And apparently they did that, and it just looked shitty. So he was like, all right, let's loosen that up a little bit and make them a little more insane. And that just, it works. Like, I rewatched, there's a scene I think that's just so fucking great when they're driving to Mission City, totally a real place, and they're on the highway, and Bone Crusher comes through with, I sound like a child like talking about this,
so great.
But like,
I love
Bone Crusher comes through, he's throwing the cars over him, and then he transforms, and Optimus Prime transforms in front of him, and then there's this slow-mo shot of Bone Crusher chasing him, and it just looked like, it looks so much better than so much shit.
It's magical.
Like, it's really fucking amazing and it's 2007. You know,
it's crazy.
So this movie was nominated for 3 Academy Awards: Best Sound Mixing, Best Sound Editing,
nice,
which I don't believe exists anymore, and Best Visual Effects, which I was like, I'd forgotten it was nominated for Best Visual Effects. Totally deserves it. It did not win. Do you know what was nominated and what won that year? Just guess off the top of your head.
I don't know. 2000 Harry Potter. One of the Harry Potters would have come out that year.
No, it was not nominated, but it did.
Okay.
I have another thing to say about that. Golden Compass won. Now, I have never seen those movies.
Okay.
I read the books and I did not like them, so no thank you.
I mean, the polar bear's cool. All right.
But the other movie, Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End, makes a lot of sense. The year before, Dead Man's Chest won the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects, as we talked about how this 06 and 07...
Why
do they look
years.
better? Why do they look better than now?
I don't know.
Crazy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's like if it's just because like a studio is not like overburdened with like 40 projects at the same time that they have to just knock it out for monetary reasons, that they just focus on one, and maybe there's less greed around wanting to make the most money.
Like we talked about, CGI, people who work in CGI are heavily, like you said, time crunched. There's a lot of projects. I think CGI is more prominently spread out through every frame of the film. Whereas in this movie, as I said, they're only restricting it to the Autobots, to the bots, right? To the Transformers themselves. And so everything else is more practical. So that's done in camera, in shots. Michael Bay is creating that.
I see.
And so the CGI artist can focus on this one thing, which is, as we said, incredibly intensive. But it's it is like, not to take away from the talent of these people, but it's unbelievable how good this movie still looks.
Wild.
Yeah.
Wild.
And I remember watching it when I was like a teenager and being like, I mean, that was crazy, but also that looked incredible.
Sheer technical prowess.
Yeah. And I didn't know fucking anything back then. I knew even less than I know now, and that's saying a lot. Saying a lot.
Oh my gosh.
I know nothing.
I feel like this was also just is this sci-fi? Do we call this a sci-fi?
I would say so, yeah.
Is this possibly the funniest sci-fi film that I've seen in a very long time?
It's definitely the funniest film written by Orsi and Kurtzman. So that's for sure.
I can't like the littlest thing has so much thought in it. Of course, like Shia LaBeouf carries a lot of the humor.
He's so good in this.
He's so funny in this, man. And I mean, also like very, very young, probably the first like leading man
20s.
in his careers. This might be the one movie that he had like maximum screen time.
You know the movie that Michael Bay, the only movie he had seen Shia LaBeouf in? Take a guess. Before this.
iRobot? No,
Constantine.
Oh,
Spielberg. Clearly, Spielberg was onto something. Spielberg and another producer, they both said to Michael Bay, check out this kid Shia LaBeouf. And Michael Bay was like, well, I've only seen Constantine, and I thought he was fine in it. But they were like, I really insist you should give him a shot.
Incredible.
Obviously, he made the right choice. And Spielberg was like, when you're done with him, I'm going to put him in one of the worst movies of my career. Okay?
Oh, no.
And Michael Bay was like, yes, please, take it.
Yes, please do. Take it away. He's so, like, the cop car with the words punish and enslave
to punish
on it.
and enslave.
Gold star.
Hella ACAB, man. This film is like...
Autobots, ACAB,
Michael
baby.
Bay is definitely... He loves the military, hates cops. Hates them. Yeah.
I'm just so sad I never got to see this at the cinemas.
I never saw it in cinemas either. There's something to... I watched it. I had it on mute earlier, and there is definitely something missing without the sound.
Yeah.
The sound in this movie is absolutely unbelievably good. And it's so cool. And it's
satisfying.
It's like when you're building a thing and it clicks into play. It actually feels like it's so fucking good,
it's
man.
It's like ASMR gem. Yeah. Honestly. Like even the visuals are so satisfying because when they transform and like the parts click into place.
Yeah.
It is so butter smooth. Oh my god.
And then the way that
so fucking good.
The way that the Transformers they transform into movement, and it's so smooth between like they're the truck and it's going along the highway, and then they transform to move into something else, or the plane, the Starscream like flies as the jet and then transforms back into the jet. It's such like, I know it's so crazy how much we like this movie because like so many other people are going to be like, you two must be on fucking drugs. But like I really found it just so entertaining, even though
hell yeah,
it's like not without its problems. Certainly a lot of the writing and Megan Fox and things like that. But
yeah, of course.
But you know what? Seeing this like however many years later, the whole Megan Fox thing is very overblown. I think she's totally fine in this film.
Dude, I am surprised by how little Megan Fox we get to see in this. I remember maybe 3 scenes with her in it.
Also, we can talk about this, but the conversation of her overt sexualization, I think, is a little overblown.
I totally agree.
Megan Fox just happens to be very beautiful, but a lot of it, like, and there's some stuff about Megan Fox being fired from the 3rd film I want to talk about. But all of this stuff being like that, what people remember is kind of like, it's like people seem to remember it like she's in like a Puff Daddy video, and she's not really. She actually kind of like, I'm not going to say she's like an incredible female character, but she has like a little arc, and I think she just does as best as she can for being like her first huge film.
They give her like a ton of personality, even within the first like 40 minutes that you see her, like the whatever screen time she gets, up until the famous like iconic scene of her like popping the trunk open and then leaning over it sweating. Just before
that's not even that like crazy.
No, it's like it's very impactful. I'll give you that. I see why it had the effect it did on lads.
She's definitely the 16-year-old's fantasy of a beautiful 100%. Woman. Like I don't say that it's without problems,
but everything before and after that scene, very demure.
Once the action,
I don't think you see, very mindful. You don't see her being too much.
Once the action starts, she becomes more of a character, basically.
Yeah.
Do you want? Can we talk about Megan Fox's firing though? Do you want to talk?
I
about
didn't
it
even
a
know
bit?
that. Holy shit!
So
Tell
she
me
was
about
fired
it.
from the third film, and I have a quote. I have a very long quote here that I want to read because it was fantastic.
Oh,
so.
No.
I haven't seen the other movies, so I don't know what happens, but I know she was fired from the third film. That's the word, basically. And I read this long article being kind of like people debating that question about it. It's like, is Michael Bay exploiting her for her good looks and using her in that way? Or is he not? Is he a hard person to work with? Like, what's the deal? And so Megan Fox did this interview for, I think it's called Wonderland Magazine, and it was after the second movie came out, I believe. And so she said this. The interviewer asked her, what are your thoughts on working with Michael Bay? Just straight, it's like right at the top of this interview, and I think it's because everyone's like, they're going to read this.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so she says, and I quote, God, I really wish I could go loose with this one. He's like Napoleon, and he wants to create this insane, infamous madman reputation. He wants to be like Hitler on his sets, and he is. So he's a nightmare to work with. But when you get him away from the set and he's not in director mode, I kind of really enjoy his personality because he's so awkward, so hopelessly awkward. He has no social skills at all, and it's endearing to watch him. He's vulnerable and fragile in real life, and then on set, he's a tyrant. Shia and I almost die when we make a Transformers film. He has you do some really insane things that insurance would never let you do. Now,
dude,
word on the street is Michael Bay was like, he said before, he's like, I think I really like working with actors, but when there's an action scene, I drill them like a basketball coach. And he has positively compared himself to the working style of James Cameron. Noted easy guy to work with.
Oh my God.
But Michael Bay has this reputation of being, as like Megan Fox is like,
Hitler.
He's well,
holy shit.
Please note that she says Hitler, because Michael Bay was apparently like, yeah, fine.
He's like, yeah, that tracks. No.
Steven Spielberg was apparently very, very angry about her comparison to Hitler.
I mean,
which he denied later, but that's the word, is that's why she was no longer
because Spielberg wanted to be like, nah, goodbye.
I mean, is it so crazy to kind of be like, comparing Michael Bay, while he may be a tyrant on the set, to Hitler is a little insensitive? But then again, whatever.
It feels like
there goes Megan
comedic
Fox.
Hyperbole of like
an
employee to an employer. Like, I mean, look, I've thrown that fucking word around for smaller things.
You call me Hitler all the time.
The time. I'm like, you didn't feed me in 6 minutes. Like, we're about to. This is a tyrannical household.
You wake up in the morning, you come in, you're like, good morning, Hitler. Steven, if you're listening, sorry.
Sorry.
We know you're a big fan.
Don't fire us, Steven.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, so Megan Fox got fired eventually. But I just think that, like, also, it's hard to say, like, did she go on to better things? But
Jennifer's Body, baby.
Yeah, but that was, like, concurrent with the second Transformers, basically.
Fair enough.
So, like...
But she got to be lead.
I don't know. Like, did Megan Fox want to stay around for 5 Transformers? Like, Shia didn't want to, so,
no, of course. Like, I mean, good. You know what? It's good to get out of that, like, kind of not really having a leading role in 6 films to just having, like, boom, all eyes on you in 1 film.
Yeah.
And that did great for the time that she stayed in the limelight.
Yeah.
Like, I can only think of, like, 3 Megan Fox films. I don't think she's been in much.
No, like, this, like, launched her career, and it was also kind of the peak of her career.
Yeah.
Even though Jennifer's Body is unquestionably, she's fantastic in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I don't know. She also, I believe later in life, like in her 30s, she was like, I don't really like acting that much. Like, I'm not crazy about it.
I think pretty recently she did a Netflix film. It was about a fucking killer or something.
She did a Netflix film with Bruce Willis like a couple of years ago.
That's it. That's the one.
It was not good.
Not good.
No,
not
I
good.
watched like half of it and I was like, it was not good. But like, whatever, man. She seems to be doing fine. Her Machine Gun Kelly just smoking weed. And
she's like, I'm a bajillionaire.
I think they're divorced.
I can hang out now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever.
I
don't really follow what's going on with her.
Live your life, Megan. Fucking happy for you, dude.
And you're welcome for watching Transformers on Paramount Plus and giving you probably like 3 cents. You're welcome, Megan.
Yeah.
And also, we heavily praised you in Jennifer's Body, and we still do to this day.
You're welcome that you got to be on this pod.
Her residuals are popping off just for us, basically. All right. Okay. I have more. I can keep going. I can keep going with topics if you want.
Fuck yeah, hit me with it.
So when I was watching this, gleefully, sitting a foot away from the TV with my hands clasped in front of me, grinning, being like, this was the glory days. This was the glory days of
100%
of blockbuster film.
Hell yeah.
And I was like, was this the biggest movie of 2007?
It's got to be, no?
No.
Really?
You want to guess? You want to guess?
I couldn't even fucking begin.
Third domestic, fifth worldwide.
Wow.
What do you think?
Third domestic?
Yeah. I was shocked. I was really surprised. But then again, a couple of fucking big ass.
Did Deathly Hallows come out around the time?
No, but one Harry Potter was ahead of Transformers worldwide.
Yeah.
Which one?
Half-Prince?
Half-Prince?
No.
Order of the Phoenix.
Order of the Phoenix.
Yeah.
Oh shit, because 2007.
Order of the Phoenix was second worldwide.
All right.
Domestic, Spider-Man 3, biggest movie.
Spider-Man.
Not a good movie.
Oh, but like I get the nostalgia.
But it was massive when it came out.
Yeah,
like, it was
of course.
Crazy. Shrek, the second, I believe.
Yeah,
Shrek 2 or Shrek 3? Shrek 3. Second
3?
Domestic.
Come on.
Transformers third. Worldwide.
Wow.
Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End was the biggest movie worldwide.
Incredible.
Followed by Order of the Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man 3, Shrek 3, Transformers. So a huge...
Oof. What a year.
4 movies ahead of it that were all sequels, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
Like, I know I just said that was the glory days, but also it's like, it kind of looks like now a little bit too.
Yeah. But like it's the formula. It works because it taps into...
Shrek is the formula for all cinema going forth.
You know what? Yeah. Honestly, I will not hear any Shrek slander because it's been a fucking landmark in cinematic history. So.
Yeah. It was DreamWorks, man. Speaking of Spielberg.
They fucking nail it every
Spielberg
time.
knew it.
He knows what's up.
He knows what's up.
Can you imagine a Shrek by Michael Bay?
Oh, I wish.
I don't want to.
Live action, though. Yeah, so I was like, I mean, I can't believe it. This is crazy. But also, like, Michael Bay went on to direct 5 of these films.
Yeah,
and like I said, the world rejoices every time one comes out. But every one of them, I remember we talked about this in our Bad Boys episode. Mm-hmm. Every one of them did like fucking balls out worldwide.
Yeah.
Just because of like the Transformers name, essentially.
Also because there's children in the world. And
yeah. And you need something to go to.
And there's adults who've been children once who are...
I would say about 50% of adults were children once, yeah.
At some point.
Some pop out fully formed. Speaking of Alien Romulus.
I just mean that their innocence may be lost along the way, but some do retain it.
I think everyone who went to the theater to see a future Transformers film, their innocence has been lost. Definitely, yeah. During watching that movie, yes. Yeah.
Transformers 2, innocence lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Rise of the Problems. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Michael Bay, again, he cut his fee by 30% this time.
Oh, boy.
Like he did with Bad Boys, except he didn't talk all about it all the time.
Yeah.
Cut his fee by 30%. He said that this film only cost $150 million, which was like...
Yikes.
Paramount was like, what a bargain. But really, someone speculated, they were like, I don't think that's true. I think it was over $200 million.
At least it's got to be. Come on.
I mean, yeah. Like, it's pretty crazy.
Dude.
Yeah. Yeah. But
wow.
Huge movie, yeah.
Huge movie.
Go on, yeah.
I just want to say, among the cast list, would not have expected John Turturro to fucking pop up in this film.
No.
And then also,
fantastic.
So great, would not have expected him to get lubricated on by Bumblebee.
That is high humor. That's highbrow humor, I think.
Yeah.
That's the type of highbrow humor this film brings to the table.
It does. Every scene, it's got some gems in there. The guy who plays, forgive me, I forget his name, but Shia LaBeouf's dad.
Yeah, from Veep.
From Veep.
He's so fucking good.
So fucking funny.
He's a fantastic, like, deadpan comedian.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And the whole interaction with them going to buy Shia's first car.
And Bernie Mac.
And Bernie Mac shows
May he
up.
rest in peace. Bernie Mac does a little cameo in this film. He's fantastic.
It's so good. There's so many gems of just like watching Shia interact with like people around him. Yeah. And then moments where you just get to like cut to Shia's face and it's just him like just gobsmacked, just staring or like unsure of how best to respond. I don't know if it's like off the cuff or if it's like written in the the dialogue, or if he's like doing improv. Something about it is so
Bay
effortless.
claims to like to really let his actors improv a lot.
So and you could kind of tell.
Yeah,
right?
like, but that was, remember in Bad Boys he said the same, because he was like, wow, this script is terrible.
Yeah.
And he was like, so let's let these two comedic giants ad lib a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But like Shia, he really does. I mean, he's good at it if that's the case.
Oh my god, he's
right?
like 300 miles an hour. He talks.
Yeah,
like,
but
his cadence
like,
is so great.
It works for this movie.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the car?
Tell me about the car.
So remember, I speculated. I was like, I wonder how much money he saved getting this car to be in the film.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Bay, as we know, is the owner of Platinum Dunes, which is a production company.
Okay.
Michael Bay was a big commercial director. He had relationships with a bunch of car companies, and he went to a bunch of them to be like, hey, I'm making this movie. It's about Transformers. We need cars. We need one really nice one and a lot of really shitty ones, like hundreds of really bad, shitty old cars. GM was like, come to our prototype place, our prototype shop, and we'll have a meeting. And he went there and he saw the new Camaro prototype, which was a 2007 car. I don't think it had been released on the market yet. And he was like, this is exactly what I had in mind.
Really?
For Bumblebee. He's like, this is paint the shit yellow. I think what he said was that on the set, like, they had this, it's like brand new car, and they had a GM rep who would basically like hover around it and stop people from touching it or touching the leather interior.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh god.
But also GM, and I think like it saved he said it saved the production $3 million or something like that, which is great. Michael Bay, a cost cutting kind of, I mean, like we said this in Bad Boys, but it's like his movies make bank.
Yeah.
And he brings them in on time.
Yeah. Good director, better accountant.
I mean,
Michael Bay.
I think he's, the more I learn about the guy, the more I'm like, I mean, it's pretty impressive what he can do. And also like, there's a lot of shit he fucking sucks at, but whatever.
Oh,
but
fuck
so,
yeah.
And then GM was also like, we will also give you a bunch of cars that are destined to be just torn apart.
Oh.
So they gave him 100 cars from like cars that have been ruined by floods and shit like that to be blown up in the movie. And Michael Bay was like, thank you. I will blow each of one of them up individually.
I will make sure they get enough screen time with the logo and everything.
Yeah. And it's
the people will remember.
It's one of those blockbusters where the ingenuity of the advertisement is so ingrained in the story of the film that you're just kind of like, it's perfect.
Yeah,
like,
of course. It is about cars, kind of.
When God, what was that fucking movie where it was a reason? I'm trying to think where they were like, they talk to like way too extensively about New Coke or whatever, and you're just kind of like, shut the fuck up. And this movie, it's intrinsic to the story, so you're like, yeah, advertising, it fucking works. The other thing too, which like lots of people, much like Top Gun, the military, he apparently talked to the military and was like, I hate cops, but I love the military, as we know.
Yeah.
No, he didn't say that, but he was like, I love the military. I want them to get involved. He also pushed to have the military's involvement in the story to be a lot bigger.
But he's so good at just filming the military.
Well, and he also like, he's kind of I think he just kind of a nerd about it. Like he likes that stuff, but he talked to the military and he was like, look, I want your guys' support. I want to show cool shit, which is Michael Bay's whole fucking vibe. And the military he told them, this is what I read, was that he was like, look, if an unknown alien species landed, I think the military would want to be involved. And the Pentagon was like, yes, I think that we would. So we shall help you. But that's where he got like the Sabo rounds, the Warthog planes, the F-22s.
All the fucking words that
a
they
lot of
use
this
in the
stuff
military.
that like you wouldn't be able to see or name on film, kind of.
Yeah.
And it was cool. Yeah.
It's wild, dude. Because I know for G.I. Joe, there was so much hesitation to like, oh, we can't lean into the politics and the jingoisticness of it all too much. But then go fucking ham on Transformers. But fuck yeah, get the military.
That's all like a military. That's all like a film to film kind of basis, right? Because the thing with the military, as people point out, is that oftentimes when they're strictly involved with a film, they're just like, well, don't make us out to like don't show us like murdering Iraqis. And
of course. Okay. And 2007, what a ripe year for all that shit.
Well, exactly. It was so funny. Dude. One of the first lines in like the Wikipedia, the development thing was like one of the main producers was gonna make. He was going to adapt some other property, not Transformers, and not necessarily a toy thing. I forget what it was. But then the invasion of Iraq happened, and some other guy was like, hey, we should do Transformers instead. Oh, it was G.I. Joe.
It was G.I. Joe. That's what I'm saying.
And then he was like, maybe we shouldn't do this one about... And then I was like, why? I mean, why? Yeah.
But then they got to squeeze in all the themes that they would have in G.I. Joe, but got away with it because it's about goofy aliens and Autobots, please.
But I think Bay said that this was like the biggest collaboration between the military and a film since Black Hawk Down.
Oh, wow.
Which was obviously like huge because, Black Hawk Down was...
Hey, what is the movie that I said reminds me of Black Hawk Down yesterday when we
Captain
were at
America.
Captain America.
Which
I did not mean Black Hawk Down. I meant White House Down. Channing Tatum.
Good, because I was like,
I
don't have time, and we were in the theater, and I didn't want to be like, what are you talking about?
This
makes no sense.
We have to step out right now, babe. I must address this.
No, I think I said I was like, let's talk about that later, because I was like, and I spent the next 30 seconds being like, what could she possibly mean?
No, it was White House Down. That's what I was thinking about. Jesus,
I have
Christ.
to say that movie looks good.
Yeah.
I think it looks fun.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna be good.
I think it's gonna be better than like any other Captain America-ish like action where it's more about the character. This will just be about democracy. This will just be about...
is it going to be
Harrison
better than
Ford.
Kraven the Hunter? I don't think so.
Fair enough. It's too early to say.
That movie also
it's too early to say. Look,
awesome.
I'll watch anything that Mangold makes, and I'm here for it.
Mangold made neither of those.
Is he not doing Kraven?
No, he's doing fucking... We talked about this. He's doing the Bob Dylan movie.
Oh, shit. Fuck. The People's Kraven.
They showed every fucking trailer yesterday.
I'm so confused. It was like back to back.
They were like... I don't know who wants to see Alien Romulus, which is wild, but they showed like 10 trailers for every fucking movie.
And they're all coming out this year.
The Bob Dylan one, I actually surprisingly thought that looked good. That Andre Alexander Aja one with like the fucking rope or whatever.
Oh.
And then Captain America, a red fuck Hulk, and then Kraven the Hunter. I'm only big on Kraven the Hunter because I'm pretty sure J.C. Shandor directed it, and he's a great director. And I also just finished playing Spider-Man 2. And Kraven the Hunter figures quite big into that, and I think he's really good in it.
Oh, my.
And it was fun to kill him as Venom. Spoiler.
Hey!
But, yeah, anyway. Lots of good movies coming out. And also, Kraven the Bob Dylan looks like a good movie.
Oh, and Lion King. At some point.
Speaking of CGI, it was so absurd. Like that.
Dude.
I was like, okay, I know that the original... Not the original, the remake of The Lion King was not very warmly received. Mm-hmm. I have to say, I saw that shit in theaters in 3D, and it blew my fucking eyes off.
I thought
it looked
so great.
So good.
Yeah.
It looked so good, and yes, it's weird when the lions talk, but like it looked... It just, as far as CGI goes, it looked fucking incredible. Yeah. And then we were watching the trailer for this movie, and maybe it's not quite touched up exactly.
For Mufasa?
But it looks worse.
Dude.
It looks worse. And I don't understand how they pulled that off.
But that's what I'm saying. I feel like it's the uncanny valley of it all, like we're talking about with the new Mufasa one, where they may be leaning too much into generative AI than they are into...
I don't think it has anything to do with AI. I think it has to do with budget. And like, no offense to Barry Jenkins, who directed it, who's a great director, but I feel like they would have thrown so much more at Favreau in 2019 to make it.
Yeah.
And then seeing the critical and commercial response to it being less than what it was, I quite assume that Barry Jenkins is not getting that much money to make this film. But that's okay. I'm not going to see it, but I'm sure it will be fine.
The children will partake.
It will be better than Aladdin and worse than The Lion King. Let's put it that way. Oh my God, right. Jon Voight.
Did you forget Jon Voight?
Yeah.
Because he is forgettable in this, which is a weird thing to say.
Stacked cast, though.
Stacked cast.
I mean, typically, listen, if Anthony Anderson is in a film, I always forget about Jon Voight.
She did it.
He's
it
great.
Was her. It was all her. He's
funny, man. He's very good in this.
That's great timing, too.
Yeah. Also, that guy from 8 Mile, who plays one of Eminem's friends.
The tall guy.
The tall guy who runs through the glass door. He's really good in 8 Mile, and he's funny for like the 30 seconds he's in this.
Yeah.
But Anthony Anderson's funny too, and then there's and then John Voight disappears. No, that's not true. That's the thing.
See?
He's at the dam and everything, and I don't.
He's so forgettable because then what a thing to say because Shia LaBeouf has a larger, brighter presence,
dominates this movie
than anyone else in this film, dude.
Yeah. Should we talk about the plot?
Let's get into it.
I want to talk about the plot, and then I want to talk a little more about my thoughts that I had after watching this movie.
Yeah.
On the Eternals.
Interesting. Okay, which is so funny because during watching the film, I was thinking of the Eternals.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into it after. Go on.
A noted spectacular film, The Eternals.
My God.
A film
our minds
we
one.
love. Yeah. And then when we watched this movie, I was like lying in bed and ended up like thinking about the Eternals for a long time because I couldn't sleep. Which is not something anyone's ever
My
said.
God, babe. This intervention is required. But yeah.
All right. So to set it all up, the Autobots, their planet, Cybertron, was destroyed in a war between the Autobots and the Decepticons. They want to find the Allspark to repair Cybertron.
Yeah.
Megatron did find the Allspark on Earth, but he crash landed in the Arctic Circle and was frozen under the ice. The Allspark ended up being in the Colorado River, and so the U.S. government, Sector 7, built the Hoover Dam around it.
Can I ask? They come from outer space,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
He did not freeze in space but froze on Earth?
These are questions that are not answered by the story.
Okay, fair enough. All right. I just assumed they like flew down as machines, but maybe they came in a vessel or a ship or something. So maybe they had like...
I don't remember, but I don't know. He froze. Maybe he got stuck under ice. Maybe he crash landed through ice and got stuck under it or something in the Arctic.
Just couldn't move and then just stayed that way. Yeah. Fair enough.
Captain Witwicky finds him and he sees the coordinates for the Allspark or whatever on his glasses, and this is a fucking plot device piece of shit.
Where are the glasses at? On eBay.
Yeah, they are on eBay. Yeah. Megatron has also moved to the Hoover Dam, and he is basically, much like the moon landing, he is the basis of all modern technology. They learn from him to build your iPhone, you know?
Everything.
Yeah.
Every
Steve
damn
Jobs
thing.
Looked at Megatron and was like, put all of that in a phone with Hugo Weaving's voice. I wish Steve Jobs did that at this point. I wish Siri could be Hugo Weaving. That would be amazing.
I know. That would be fucking great.
That's all the setup, basically. In the present day, Josh Duhamel and Tyrese Gibson, two Marines or American soldier people, coming back from a good session of murdering Iraqis.
Yikes!
Just stretching like, oh boy, that was a lot of fun.
Anyway, they lean into it quite a bit.
They come back to a base in Qatar where Blackout and Scorponok sound like a child.
Because it is.
Scorponok.
It's a good thing.
They attack the base.
Yeah.
And they try to download all of the U.S.'s OneDrive files from their network with all their secrets.
Not the OneDrive.
Yeah.
Damn it.
And they fail at that. But the base gets completely destroyed by Blackout, who is the helicopter. And then Duhamel and Gibson escape on a tank with some other folks, but they're followed by Scorponok. And then they have a big shootout with him. And then they find out they shoot off his tail with the big Sabo rounds from the big, huge flying jet
They take
thing.
the tail back to base.
And they take the tail back to base.
The fucking helicopter transformer, dude. Blackout?
Blackout, yeah.
One of the coolest things that you get to see very early on in the film, and that sets the tone for the rest of the movie. Because so far, it's just people, right? They haven't introduced the like outside of the little goofy evil transformer. This Blackout
frenzy,
whatever fucking money they had to put into this helicopter transforming, well deserved.
It's a cool opening scene. Like
so
I really
fucking
like. Yeah,
cool.
I think it's a lot of fun. It really sets the stage.
Right away, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna need a bigger
And then they're
bag
sitting in
of
the
popcorn.
desert, being like, oh, it must be Iran with that big robot. Anyway, the Pentagon hires a bunch of hackers, and including for some reason some fucking Australian chick, to help trace this signal. And then they find the signal because Frenzy has gotten on board Air Force One, and he's fucking the computer on Air Force
Little
One
shit.
and also downloading all the files.
God.
This is all kind of concurrent. This is like more in a linear fashion. Like there's other stuff happening.
But again, like the humor is always there because then Frenzy gets to transform into a music tape recorder.
I don't think it's funny when the Australian woman steals top secret files from the Pentagon.
You know what?
I don't think that's funny at all.
You were right.
I don't think Michael Bay thinks it's funny. I don't think the world should think it's funny. I think Australians cannot be trusted, and I think that's the real theme of this film. Yeah.
But you can trust them with a surfboard. They're so good.
Yeah, mate. They are good.
Yeah, water-based only.
Also, coffee.
Land-based.
Damn.
Oh, look, doing it. They're doing it already.
Australians, I take it all back. You can be trusted with national secrets.
Come on,
as long as you make me coffee.
Give it to them.
Sam, he's trying to sell his grandfather's things to buy a car.
Yeah.
And he has to get straight A's from the guy from House. Does a presentation. He's trying to sell the glasses. The glasses are the thing that has the Allspark coordinates on them. He gets the A. He buys the car. He buys Bumblebee from Bernie Mac, which is, he doesn't know yet, but Bumblebee turns out to be his greatest wingman because he impresses Michaela, played by Megan Fox.
She's like, your car needs a hubcap. They don't put one of those in this car, Megan. Shit. Who wrote this dialogue for you, girl? Anyway. All good.
Yep.
She's great. She's great.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Also, Bumblebee turns into the bitchinest Camaro ever after a bit. And then they witness him transform into a full Autobot.
Fuck yeah.
He fights the cop, ACAB, and and then he calls all the Autobots to his location, being like, I found the thing that will help us find the Allspark. Optimus Prime comes and, yells the whole time. That's basically his voice. But the voice for him is is like from the original cartoon.
Oh, and that's so nice.
Yeah, it's like cool for nostalgia. I'm not sure if it works for a live action film.
Oh, I think it works great because it does a lot to bring back a voice that you so distinctly remember.
Well, I don't. I never watched the cartoon.
I know, but that's why it works for like the audience that loves this film is because they have like a clear association with some things stand out in memory more than like visual stuff or and like audio goes a long way in doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Really good call bringing back that voice actor.
One of, I think, my least favorite things about this movie is that Hugo Weaving is the voice of Megatron, and he sounds nothing like Hugo Weaving.
It does not. I didn't even know it.
Because Hugo Weaving has given some incredible performances, but also one of my favorite vocal performances in V for Vendetta. He's got an amazing, distinctive voice, and he sounds nothing like him. Because
they put the thing filter
they
on
auto-tune him.
They auto-tune
Kanye West came in and put a little auto-tune on his voice. But like the guy who plays Optimus Prime, I just can't help every time I'm like, it sounds like Bill Camp. It just sounds like fucking Bill Camp.
Yeah, dude.
And just yelling Bill Camp. And it's fine. But it's fine. I'm not crazy.
My name is Bill Camp.
I was a great janitor chess player. And I'm in every other television show.
He fucking would rule. He'd be so good.
Yeah, he would. He would be good. Basically, they get the glasses. And then John Turturro shows up, who's essentially the Men in Black, but for Transformers. They take him to Hoover Dam. They're just like, this big fucking cube is the most important thing on Earth.
Yeah.
And this big robot also conveniently is here, which is, I think, a good idea.
That cube is like 100 stories high or whatever. It's this ginormous thing.
Frenzy, the little fucker, has disguised himself as Michaela's cell phone, sneaks into the Hoover Dam, and frees Megatron. The unfortunate thing is Megatron is literally the exact place he wants to be to get the Allspark. So they take the Allspark. Sam lets it turn into a tiny little cube.
A tiny little cube.
And they go on a chase to Mission City because all of the communications have been knocked out across the world by the Decepticons.
Why, I wonder, they were like, we need to go to a city with this instead of having the fight in a desert.
Because the Hoover Dam is like you can't get a signal out. That's the whole point, to protect the Allspark. Babe, it's thoroughly explained by John Voight.
I totally
it's because the Hoover Dam is so thick it protects the Allspark signature from being detected. But they also can't, all the communications are down. They can't get a radio out or anything. So they go to Mission City to call in the Air Force, who can damage the Decepticons and find a working radio or communications device to call them in to blah, 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 to to fucking 9/11 the shit out of Mission City, fucking Arizona, or whatever the fuck it is, which is great.
They obliterate the city. It's
as
so
I
rough.
said, the chase scene on the highway, it's about a minute long. I think is fucking great. I think it's the highlight of the film.
100%. There is not one action scene where I'm like, I wish this was shorter. No. All of it is the right amount of time.
I think the final sequence is pretty fucking long because there's too many storylines converging, and I think
but that's the time to finish your popcorn, though. That's the time where you just get to like house it mindlessly into your face.
Well, you also, if you're in the theater in 2007,
Yeah.
you need time and space to finish your popcorn so
Go
you can
pee.
stand up and fucking cheer because it's so exciting. Because you're just like, this is what I come to the movies for, is to watch this shit. Oh, can you hear the sound? It should win an Academy Award.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, and
Hell
so
yeah.
there's this like an insane fucking final sequence, which
Wild.
is very fun and good, but like I said, a little too long. And then Sam with the Allspark, he stuffs it into he fucks Megatron's chest with it and kills him.
Not in the Megatron.
And then Optimus Prime is like, oh well, I guess Cybertron's no more.
Yeah.
And so he's like, at the end, he is like, any other Autobots out there, come to Earth.
The best part is that the villain is, if not more, just equally powerful to Optimus Prime.
He's a badass.
They are so hard. It takes like an army and other robots to like even gang up on one of these fucking Decepticons.
One of the criticisms
so
I read
OP.
from an insightful Reddit commenter about this film was they said what you said earlier, which was that this movie is unfairly lumped in with the rest of the Transformers movies.
Good, yeah.
One of the big issues is that in this movie, Megatron he's like Sauron. He's like bad news. And the other movies, they become like fucking goofs. And not very scary.
God, I remember that. It was like so easy to kill them off in like the subsequent films.
Yeah.
But like Optimus Prime almost dies trying to kill Megatron in this one.
Yeah, he gets his dick kicked in. Yeah.
And that is it. That's the impact, though. That is why this movie is so much better than all the other ones that come after it.
I love. There's like speaking of kind of the CGI and the design, I love there's a part when Megatron shows up, and then Jazz, who gets ripped in half by him, like they come together to fight, and you realize Megatron is like 3 times his size, which I think that's like a cool, because you don't really get one of the weird design.
And it's a shocking death too for Jazz. It's like very sad.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. One of the weird design issues with this movie though is sometimes you're like, the scale for how big these things are is constantly changing, or it feels like it. You're like, yeah, sometimes his head is as big as a house, and other times it's like a basketball.
Yeah. Wait, what's going on?
But in the final battle, you get a much more...
Yeah. They're all size of buildings.
Yeah,
They're
like you're
towers.
like, okay, but also Megatron, you're like, he's way bigger.
Totally.
It's cool. It's fucking, oh man, it's
so
dope.
good.
And then they dump them in the Laurentian Abyss for James Cameron to later go and do a film about. Yeah.
Yay!
In his little diving suit.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm so glad. Like the outro also sets it up so perfectly for whatever's to come
I mean,
next.
when you drop a fucking Linkin Park song, it better be everyone in the theater was probably standing and cheering. Yeah, classic.
Fuck yeah, nailed it. So good.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this film.
You know, we're talking about Linkin Park, so I will squeeze in a little factoid here for you.
Tell me.
This is on IMDb.
Mm-hmm.
Megan Fox was attending a Linkin Park concert.
Cool.
And when it was over, like the band wanted to meet her personally. And
Typical.
they also, at the time, it was like, oh, Transformers is in the works. And they requested whether they could have one of their songs in the film.
Fair, right?
And what I've done then ends up appearing in the closing credits.
I was a big listener to Linkin Park. I thought they're a pretty interesting band. I think the Chester Bennington, rest in peace, a great tragedy when he committed suicide. One of the more interesting and talented vocalists in like the metal scene, whatever the
alt
fuck,
metal,
alt rock metal scene.
Yeah.
Linkin Park for a while was like an interesting band, mixing genres and doing all sorts of shit. They are definitely really cheesy and corny, but also...
But like where it feels good in the heart.
I can't think of a better band to also appear in a Transformers film. They just kind of fit.
Oh,
like,
dude.
So well. Yeah.
Of course. Top 5 movies.
Are you bringing out top 5?
I got a top 5 for
years,
this.
Bro.
That's how good this movie is.
Can I just ask though? Is the top 5 Transformers films directed by Michael Bay? Because there are 5.
No. This is a top 5 where Linkin Park's song "What I've Done" should play in 5 other movies and it would fit in perfectly.
Captain America, Black Hawk Down.
You stop it. This is my list. And also, no. It only has to be emotionally attuned to these 5 films. Number 1, Oppenheimer.
The ending of that could be recut with it. Yeah.
It'd be fucking great if they had Linkin Park.
We just rewatched that. And I think Academy Award winner Ludwig Göransson can fuck off.
Yeah, bye, bitch. Yeah. Okay, go call Childish Gambino and take it out with him.
Yeah.
Number 2, 12 Angry Men.
Never seen either version of it.
It's like mostly silent, mostly angry. Mm-hmm. And then in the end...
How many men are there?
At least a dozen.
No women.
Not even a baker's dozen. A proper 12.
Thanks, Sidney Lumet.
12 Angry Men. Great ending with the Linkin Park song. Number 3, Titanic. Could you imagine toward the end, instead of the whatever violin that they all start playing when the ship tries to go down, throw on some Linkin Park?
I don't know if the ending really... No, you're talking about right before the credits, though.
That is true.
The right before the credits is when Jack and Rose are kissing at the top of the staircase. I don't know if it works in that scene.
Is that what, I thought it ends on the old lady's face.
You'd have to recut it to... if it ended on the old lady's face, like asleep in her bed, that would be great.
That would be so good. Yeah. Oh, okay. I misremembered.
All right, okay. Director's cut, James, if you're listening.
Another opportunity for Linkin Park in the movie Barry Lyndon.
You've never fucking seen it.
I watched you watch it on an airplane. I think it fits just because in the end, when they're all just hanging out in their little costumes.
That thematically, that movie is a very much like, man, this guy's a fucking scamp.
Yeah.
Bitch.
Yeah.
And he's done a lot in his life.
What has he done?
Yeah, but I don't fully recall the final scene of that, so I have to
just know that
it.
Tonally would work. Lyrically, it would be poetic.
It is. Yes, absolutely, yeah.
And
the only movie it doesn't work for is Transformers. it works like sonically as a sound.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah.
The theme of that
not
song,
so much.
No, yeah.
Lyrically, what it does work on is the 5th film, Love Actually. It goes the distance. It works for every one of the 1,900 characters in the film.
It's more directed at Richard Curtis for making that movie.
And he sings it during his fucking thing, his like little album. Anyway, that's the top 5.
Hell
Linkin
yeah,
Park.
I love it.
Hell yeah. Tell me about your Eternals thought.
All right, this is our bonus conversation about the Eternals. So I was thinking about the Eternals lying in bed at night, as most people do.
As a man,
3 years after that piece of shit came out. and I was thinking about our episode on it because I really like that episode. I think it was a lot of fun.
It's so fun to do.
Sort of drunk, so it was really cool.
Hell yeah.
But one of the things I always think about that I said in that, which I think about a lot in sci-fi movies, is the idea that the Eternals, and I think this is what I said, the genius that I am. No, I think this is what I said was that like the Eternals asks a fundamentally stupid question about humanity.
Yeah.
Is humanity worth saving?
Mm-hmm.
And as viewers who are humans, we're all like, yeah, it is. Why the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, we do some bad things, but yeah, it's worth saving. Now, in this movie, they ask the same question. Megatron wants to enslave humanity, turn every vending machine into a monster robot and kill people and use humanity's technology to whatever, enslave people.
Yeah.
And Optimus Prime, he's like, no, humans are good. They're worth saving. They're worth keeping around. We don't harm them. Fuck you, Megatron. I'll stab you in the fucking face if you do it again.
Yeah.
Now, the key difference is that in this film, Transformers, and what makes this film much better than the Eternals, and what makes the question the Eternals is asking so fucking stupid, humanity in this movie takes part in their liberation from possible enslavement and possible destruction. In the Eternals, it's just 12 gods being like,
oh yeah, executive
are humans
decision.
Good? And one of them is like, well, the Spanish Inquisition wasn't. And someone's like, yes, but also, what about Kit Harington? And they're like, he fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Like humanity in that movie doesn't take part in what's basically a cataclysmic, impossible event. They have no say in its actual, in fending it off. Like they just don't play. It's just these, and my take on it, and I have a really cynical take on what that movie is like saying, and I don't think it's I don't think it's deliberate. I think it's just a weird thing for the film to come across as.
Mm-hmm.
The Eternals themselves, they feel to me like when like comedians or like SNL is like, we're super important to the world because we speak truth to power, and comedy is what you need in times of tragedy and things like that. They get really up on their high horse about how important they are as intelligent, creative people in the world, and it's their job to save the proletariat from their own destruction, kind of. And humans in the Eternals are dumbass people in like the Midwest who don't know, hapless, like they're just useless.
Yeah.
And the Eternals fight these monster demon things that are on Earth that have no actual, like, in that film, one of the problems with it is like they have no fucking reason to be to be there at all. Just they're like, we're just evil dogs. Like, you know.
There's also the big premise of the Eternals is that they don't intervene in human affairs for the longest time.
But they do to stop the big guy from jizzing out of the planet.
Yeah.
At the end, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh.
Like for a millennia, they've not intervened anything in wars and nothing. They've done nothing.
But it's, and to me, it feels like it's like this, like, us as like smarter people have a responsibility to save stupid people from their cataclysmic destiny, which could be climate change. It could be voting Republican. It could be anything, right? But it feels so, to me, I'm like, and I don't think this is like Chloe Zhao's fault or the writer's fault or anything. It just comes across as I'm like, well, without the human perspective, it feels so fucking snobby. And it feels so like, and the problem with the stakes of the film is like, yeah, well, humans can't stop this like universe god from emerging from their fucking planet. So who cares? Like, what fuck is such a fucking bizarre fantasy in a way? I don't know. I don't know if that's fully articulated well, but I just thought about it a lot. And yeah,
I just think because it's a similar parallel to when they talk about like Greek gods or Titans, when they do all these things like powerful decisions and wars and all this stuff, fighting amongst gods, but then all the brunt of that is borne by like public common humans, mortals,
sort of. Yeah.
But then a large part of that mythology is that these gods are created based on human fallacy and like human emotions and the faults that normal men would do. Just innocent men would be the way, but if they had power, they would still be, you know, faulty. With the Eternals, they are all perfect, quote unquote.
Kinda, yeah.
And it's like even bigger of an ego thing, maybe, if not like in a negative way. It might just be to them like, oh, well, obviously we're better than you because we are like the 3,000, like human 3,000.
Yeah, and also like I see what you mean, because the one of the weird mismatches in that film is the fact that they for beings that are like thousands of years old, they certainly suffer from a lot of the psychological foibles that normal people do.
Yeah.
So like with Barry Keoghan in that film, when he's just like, I don't care about humans because one time the Spanish Inquisition happened or whatever, or like the invasion of Spain and South America, is like, well, that's just such a short-sighted thing, and you've seen all of history. So why are you so concerned about this one event?
And
granted,
also,
it was awful.
If they are these godly creatures who think of us as ants or bugs, well, in nature, there's always a case of war.
Gemma Chan doesn't. She thinks of one of them as a fucking piece of ass.
Who?
Kit Harington.
Oh, right.
Because they're
that piece of ass.
I think he's sticking it in her.
They do be sticking it in. Yeah.
But yeah, sorry. So they think of us as ants.
If these gods think of us as animals, then animals always do go to war and shit for like absolutely no reason at all other than survival.
Yeah.
And so that is the definition of any fucking country attacking any other country to just make a better case for their own people.
But it's also, I just also think that it's like, without the human perspective, it's just such a pointless question.
Yeah.
You know, because like...
But then it would be like us as humans intervening between a deer and a lion fighting.
Well, some people do. though, right?
That's what. But like, it's not right to do that anyway. It's not our place.
It can feel like morally or ethically right, but I don't like. That's a much more complicated question, right? The thing. Even in Transformers, it's not like fucking Shia LaBeouf's character is like Schopenhauer and he has all these thoughts about how he's like, oh, should I? He struggles with the idea of whether humanity should exist or not. Like, he's just a kid and he's like, well, I want to bone Megan Fox, so I want to keep living.
I have to live so I can drive my car.
Because I haven't yet gotten to finger blasted girl in my nice prototype GM.
Yeah.
But at least like... he's part of the action, and so is Josh Duhamel, so is Tyrese Gibson, and so is Megan Fox, so is John Voight, so is John Turturro, and they all have competing ideas of like how humanity should survive. I just think Eternals, it feels so snobby because they're just like
it removed the audience.
They spend that movie, which I think is 7 hours long, is like they spend an hour and 45 minutes like debating amongst each other.
Yeah.
You know, should we stop this other proto being who is like higher than us?
Yeah.
He came in the planet and now his son is going to pop out and destroy everything. It's like, should we save humanity for it? And I just think it feels to me like this. I don't know. It just feels like this weird other thing. I don't know. I was thinking about it. That's just a fucking...
It feels like a weird other thing, possibly because if they've not taken any action to intervene in human history ever, why do they give a shit if we live or die? Why do they want to come save us now if the planet is going to burst?
Yeah, and also like the idea that it's like, oh, we're obligated to do this because we're higher beings. That's the snobby thing that it feels like to me. Even though this is just like a fucking college reading of it. Like this is me being
fair enough.
Fucking lying in bed thinking of dumb shit. But
no, it makes sense.
Yeah, like I don't know. I thought about it a lot after this movie, and yeah.
Would you have felt that it would be a better arc if more humans were involved in?
Well, yeah.
Showing them the light and kind of being like...
one of the issues with that film is that there's too many characters, right?
Well, yeah.
But
fucking Christ.
One of those issues could be alleviated if there was fewer characters and at least some of them were like people, you know? Because like it's one of the hard things I have with... It's one of the things I struggle with a lot of Marvel stuff is kind of like, well... As a person, it's kind of like watching two hurricanes fight from far away, and I'm like, what does this have to do with me? Like, it's
totally,
you know, it doesn't. And I know that a lot of it is like, well, most of like, you know, fucking Josh Brolin will come down and he'll 9/11 your town and stuff. Like, I get that, but I also kind of like struggle with the stakes of it because they're so high. But then it's kind of like, oh, thanks again for fucking saving our life. Like, I don't know.
It's the sense of like powerlessness, and then also the end. Thanks for watching. Anyway, you couldn't have been a part of this in any way.
Yeah. And you're welcome for doing this for you.
Anyway, this lasted 7 hours, this movie, and come back for part 2 in 7 years.
I don't know. There's something. I know it's a very cynical reading, but something about that movie, it comes across as this. To me, it's just. I keep coming to the word snobby, but it comes across as this like
gods are better.
Well, yeah, and I can't help but think is like, well, what does that mean in like a subconscious sense as a storyteller? And I don't know, it struck me as a little odd, that's all. But the good news is that I never have to fucking watch that movie again in my life.
Never again,
ever,
because you did waste so many days until
I release my book Eternal, the experience of watching Marvel's The Eternals.
Eternal, that's how long this film lasts. Christ,
a trenchant critique of the film that everyone has forgotten about. But you're welcome for bringing it back up to everyone's forefront of people's mind.
We keep it real.
Thank you for listening.
It's been the low ceiling.
Fucking try out the Transformers again.
Yeah,
Jesus
dude.
Christ, dude.
I'm Autobot Pri.
I'm John.
What the fuck? I'm zapping you out of existence.
All right.
Shoop.
Bye.
Bye.